Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Noe. I decided to do a still life this time around, and the first step, of course, is to get the pencil drawing done. Pencil drawing usually takes me not too long, but this one in particular was a big challenge. There was just so much in the picture, so many little buildings, just so much to deal with that it took me a little while to figure out exactly the right placement for things. I decided to start with the tree though, because at least that's kind of a central vantage point. It's something I can build off of, and I can place other things according to how close in relation to the building they are and the trees. So next up was to work on the staircases and the buildings. The building placement was kind of tricky because they're all sort of at slightly different angles. And then the staircases, I wanted them to be as close as I could get them to the original picture. And they took a little time and effort, but overall the picture was a pretty good time. I really enjoyed fitting all the small details in with the window placement and the stairs and just kind of the way the shadow falls. And I just really love the little details. They're a lot of fun to try to place in as exactly as I can, try to make it somewhat close to the original picture. So this is a pretty good place to actually start the coloring now. I was pretty satisfied when I got to this point. Alright, so I gotta lay down the sky. I found that was kind of the easiest starting point. The sky and the tree are the sort of the biggest features besides the buildings. After that, it was adding in the brown for the apartment just to give like framing to the buildings and stuff. Next, I wanted to basically painstakingly place every little rocky dot. I first just went in with a bunch of random stippling just to get kind of a foundation down, and then from there I went in with the closer details and added, I think it was about 9 different colors. I used grays and browns to emulate that sort of stony color. And I spent a long time doing these little dots. And before I did it kind of randomly, and then having the more measured dots gives it sort of that feeling of somewhat upkeep, but then at the same time, just the randomness of people walking through and kind of messing up the arrangement of the stones. So in certain sections, I made them a lot straighter, a lot more neat. And then in these larger parts, I just kind of went in just sort of willy-nilly, no real reason or logic until I got to the stones that I was actually going to place down. And really, they're just little dots. I find that stippling is just such a fun little activity to do. Placing, though, trying to be sort of random but also measured, that was a little bit of a challenge. So as you can see, it's just like, that was fast motion, and it was like, felt like 10 times longer than that. But worth it in the end. I think in the end it just came out looking a lot more interesting as a result. Then I wanted to go ahead and provide some shadowing to the buildings and also to give them their sign of building color. They were kind of a weird like salmon, like a brown pink. And finally satisfying. You get to take the eraser in, get rid of all those extra little pencil bits that don't really look that great, just kind of clog up some of the white space. Also, it clears out and make things look brighter, more vivid. Sometimes it's kind of hard because the pencil, it didn't really have any color with it, so erasing it means you're kind of losing some of that detail. Overall, though, it doesn't take too much work to go back in and add a little color if you need to. Got to draw in the little satellites we got here on the tops of the buildings. And there really wasn't too many extra details. Those were the main ones, and then adding in the railings for the staircases. And of course, there has to be multiple little staircases. So I want to add the same color for the railing in on all these other ones too. So much smaller though. Got to be careful not to accidentally get out of line and lose that straight quality that you get from that kind of metal material. And then, of course, there's a little section beneath the stairs. It was brown originally, but I didn't want more brown against the background that I already had, so I added kind of just a green, like a nondescript dark green. Same color as the railing, but I tried to make it look a little bit different, and I think against the gray of this little staircase, I think it does a good enough job for that. And then, of course, some of the tiniest little details near the windows. But like I said, there wasn't really a ton of extra stuff to do. It was mainly just making sure that I colored all the little frames in, making sure I got some shadowing in different places. And then I'm going in now, adding in the same color as the front of the buildings, but with that gray undertone to make it look more like an authentic shadow, sort of a shadow of its former self, so to speak. And this was really satisfying, to be honest, just to color those in and see the same color but a little bit darker, so it's really emulates kind of that shadowy feel. Important to get the underside too, even under little staircases. I just love the way it looks. It definitely has a shadowed feel to it. Gonna take some more eraser in, clean up the lines a little bit more, see if I need to add shadow in anywhere else. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this. And then there was these little patio chairs. So just got to make sure to add just a little bit of shadow in there, give them a little bit of depth. I think these little details are really what make these pictures feel so much more alive. Just a little extra detail, it goes a long way. Of course, there's, so many different kinds of art, and detail's not always important, but I just really appreciate it when it's there. All right, now that everything's finished, I'm gonna go ahead and just get in here and sign it. All right, go ahead and cut it out. I don't really love the perforation on these pages. It's a little bit too deep for me, so usually I just cut it right near the edge. All right, and we're gonna load this one into one of my notebooks. This one's got my landscapes, so I'm gonna put it right at the end there. Sometime, hopefully, I can do a bit of a deep dive into these notebooks. I have 3 of them, so I think that could make for an interesting video or an interesting video series. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that. Anyways, here it is in its full glory, and that's it. Thank you everyone for checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and for further content, please subscribe. If you liked the video, please like, and I will see you next time. Bye.